What's going on, guys? About well, a year ago in May, I did a video on my Danner Tannicus boots that I had got. Now, I'd actually had them for a little while before I did that video, and I wanted to do a follow-up video for two things. Number one, follow-up video on those boots, and number two, to touch on something else with another pair. So, been running the Danner Tannicus pretty hard and steady for a year now, and I gotta say, it's probably my all-time favorite, most impressed with pair of boots. They don't have all the fancy bells and whistles that some other boots have. They're not at the top of the price end, as you know, a lot of other boots. But for me, they fit right and they work. In case any of you missed that video, this is the Danner Tannicus, the waterproof pair. They've got a couple of different ones, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But just a real quick recap, these are basically just olive Mojave / coyote brown, whichever one you want to call it, colored boot. It's got like a Cordura nylon upper to it, leather lower, etc. Why does everybody want to message me while I'm in the middle of trying to oh well, I'll get back to that guy in a minute. He's just another YouTube guy. It's funny how whenever you start doing a video, somebody else that you know off of YouTube starts sending you a message. It's like they know. Right now there's somebody somewhere that is going to be doing a video later that I'll message and do the same thing. Back on subject. Waterproof, right? They don't, however, use Gore-Tex. They use Danner's own waterproofing membrane. It's really cool. It's kind of like a satiny feeling membrane, and it's called Danner Dry. It's their own little, I don't know if that'll pick up, there you go. It's their own waterproofing lining. And I gotta say it works. I mean, my feet have not gotten wet once in these boots, short of me keeping the water level, you know, from not coming over the top. Excuse me. There's just enough padding in the tongue to make it comfortable, but there's not so much padding that it like makes you feel like you got a pillow stuffed in the front of your boot. Same with the sides. There's not really any padding on the sides, but there is around the top of the collar up here. Pull tab on the back makes it easy to get them on and off, but you don't have a big old giant loop hanging out back here that your pants get hung up on all the time. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Your pants leg will ride up and then it'll get caught on that tab, and then the back of your pants leg's hung up over your boots. Now normally I tuck mine in my boots anyway, because where I'm at, if you don't, you're going to have critters crawling up your pants leg. But on the rare occasions that I don't, like in the winter time, it's nice that that's so smooth and doesn't hang up. So anyway, as you can see, these are getting pretty dirty, and I try to keep them clean, but they just get stained up and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Really impressed with the sole. The sole is not showing any appreciable wear whatsoever. Now granted, I haven't had these on a lot of concrete or asphalt. It's primarily been off in the woods or that sort of thing. But even so, there's just no wear showing whatsoever. And I've had thorns and briars and sticks and stuff scraping into it. You can see, well, I can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's little pock marks everywhere where stuff's gouged into it, and it's literally no worse for wear. So these have got just, at the rate they're going, years and years left of mileage on. So Still recommend those. It's a great pair of boots. My only druthers, and I don't know why Danner did this, but on the tongue, about halfway up, you see this ridge right here where they sewed this ridge down? In the corner down here, and the laces are all in the way and I can't get them out of the way. There we go. When this folds up, it creates a little nub in there that, for whatever reason, on my right foot, on the inside of my right foot, it hits right at the top of the ankle bone, and until it gets worn in and kind of broken down and smashed down and squished down, that was kind of annoying, and it was actually a little uncomfortable at first, but I guess that was the only real break-in part that I had to the boots. So other than that, there wasn't any break-in wear. I don't know why they saw fit to put that ridge right there so close to where your ankle's going to be at, but to me it's a minor annoyance that goes away with use. So that all said, I live in a hot climate for most part of the year. And there are times when you just want a vented boot. Now, these aren't hot by my measurement compared to other Gore-Tex type boots and stuff. Yeah, they're a little bit warmer because they're waterproof, but I haven't found them to be like uncomfortably hot where it just made you feel like your feet were melting off. But that said, if I know I'm going to be in dry weather where it's not going to rain and it's really, really hot, sometimes it is nice to have that little bit of extra ventilation in there for your foot. Another thing is, if I'm going to be in really, really hot weather and I know for absolute certain that I'm going to get wet, like wet over the top of my boot or wet with it raining and it's going to be too hot to wear rainwear, a vented pair is nice because you're going to get water in the boots. And the good thing about Gore-Tex and any kind of waterproof pair of boot, what keeps the water out is also going to keep the water in. With a vented pair, at least the water's got some way of draining out, and you've got airflow that can go there that will significantly help speed up your drying time inside the boot. So that said, I had been on the search for a pair of vented hot weather boots. Looked at a bunch of different ones, checked out a bunch of different ones, actually ordered a couple of pair that as soon as they got here and I took them out of the box and tried them on, I literally boxed them right back up and sent them right back. Well, I finally just broke down and said, you know what, let's stick with what we know works. Well, fortunately, Danner makes the Tannicus in a vented hot weather boot. You notice this one does not have the black waterproof lining in it. It's just got the dry mesh lining in it. A couple of the problems that I had with some of the other boots that I got and tried were the fit. I could get the length right, but a couple of pair, I don't have a narrow foot, but mine's not wide enough to warrant a wide boot. But even their standard medium width boot fit me like a wide. I mean, my foot was just flopping left to right in it. And I actually did a little bit of searching on two different pair and found like almost unanimously that was the one constant comment people constantly made, was that the boots were just like crazy wide for a normal medium width pair of boots. So after getting real frustrated with all that, I finally just said, you know what, let's stick with what we know works. So I got a pair of the Danner Tannicus in the hot weather, and I've had these for a few months. They're not obviously as dirty as my others because I haven't worn them as much. We're just fixing to start getting into our hotter weather now, so those are going to start getting a lot more use. I'm absolutely in love. They fit exactly the same as the waterproof pair. Good points and all. Heck, they were even nice enough to put that same little ridge on the tongue right there so that my right ankle feels that little knob bulging into it, and it feels right at home, just like with the other ones. So that'll go away with time, like I said. But other than that, what I wanted to touch on is, if you're like me and you want to have 2 pair of boots for cold and or wet weather and for hot and or wet weather, I went around the gamut, the circle, and my advice is try to find you a boot that works for you. And if you need both, find one that has a hot weather and a wet weather pair. That way you can get the same boot that theoretically should fit and feel the same on your feet. It just makes life so much simpler. Your feet just know what you're putting on, and everything feels the same with the exception of one pair is waterproof and one pair is not. You know what to expect in that regards. I'm starting to become a big fan of that. I'll probably do another video later on, maybe talking about some of the thoughts and considerations at looking at a pair of boots versus, or a pair of boots for use in like out in the woods in a more rural setting versus maybe boots for a more urban or suburban setting. And that's a topic for another video. But for now, just the down quick and dirty. Still in love with my waterproof Danner Tannicus. I'm going to continue rocking these out. Loving the hot weather Tannicus. Going to get those finished breaking in here over the next month and start putting them to use this summer a bunch. And probably going to start thinning out the boot closet, as it were, because these are doing everything I want, and if I need extras, I'll probably just try to find a way to save up and get some more of these, with the exception of there's one other boot that I want to try. Do a video on that if and when I get them. Again, guys, the other thing about these boots, both of them, you can get them for right around $130. So for what you're getting, I think they're worth way more than $130. You can get a lot crappier boot that costs more money than these. Danner's a good, well-respected brand anyway, so you've got the name behind it. I have no doubts whatsoever. If I had an issue with either one of these pair of boots, I'm absolutely certain Danner's going to take care of it. I've seen their customer service before. So, but again, don't think their customer service gets used very often because their boots just work usually. So, that said, there you go. Just a quick update on those. Like I said, we'll get into some of the other stuff. Check these out if you're looking for something. I love them. Hopefully you will too. So take care, guys. Talk to you again real soon.